Okay, hi guys, it's Mrs. Millison. We're going to go over the Check Your Understanding that starts on page 97 and goes to 98. Okay, the figure on the next page, and we'll look at it in a second, shows a dot plot of the height distributions from Miss Navard's class, along with summary statistics from a computer output. Suppose you want to convert the class's heights from inches to centimeters. Okay, so 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Describe the effect that this will have on the shape, center, and spread of the distribution. Okay, come up here. I went ahead, I rewrote this information over on my piece of paper so we didn't have to keep going back to the book. Come over the paper. Okay, let's summarize transformations. Okay, let's summarize transformations. Okay. Whenever you modify your data, you add something to it, you multiply it by something, you do something to transform your data. Two things never change: the shape and outliers. They never change. The shape is always the shape. If it's symmetrical once, it's going to be symmetrical after you transform it. Outliers never change. The values might, but the actual, if there's two high outliers, there will always be two high outliers. If there's a low outlier, there will always be a low outlier. What does change are the center and the spread. Okay? The center is impacted by everything. So if you add, subtract, multiply, or divide your data by anything, the same thing's going to happen to the center. So the center is impacted by addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. Okay? The spread is only impacted by multiplication and division, because adding or subtracting the same thing from every single piece of data doesn't change the distance between the data. Okay? So spread is only impacted by multiplication and division. Okay, so the first question, we had to convert from inches to centimeters, and we were told 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. Oops, 54 centimeters. Let me write that. Okay, so to convert from inches to centimeters, all we have to do is multiply. Okay, you multiply the inches by 2.54 and you have the conversion in centimeters. So this is all we're doing, is multiplying. Okay, so when you multiply, it's going to impact everything, the center and the spread. Shape and outliers, going to be no change. So the shape, I don't even think the book asks about the outliers. So there's no change, whatever the shape is. It's kind of a, I don't know, I think it was like a right skewed distribution. The center, okay, our two measurements of center are mean and median. So our mean of 67 should be multiplied by 2.54. And our median of 66 should be multiplied by 2.54. So if we throw those in the calculator, I've already done them. Our new mean should be 170.18 centimeters. So 67 inches will convert to 170.18 centimeters, and 66 inches will convert to 167.64 centimeters. Okay, now the spread, everything else, all the spread should also be multiplied by 2.54, since spread is impacted by multiplication and division. So we'll do standard deviation first, because we don't have to calculate it. So 4.29, 2.54. So our new standard deviation should be 10.90 centimeters. Okay. Now our range, we got to calculate that real quick. Max minus min, our range of 15 inches. If we multiply that by 2.54, that should equal 38.1 centimeters. Same thing with our IQR. If we calculate our original IQR, 70 minus 63, which is 7 inches, and multiply it by 2.54, we should get an IQR of 17.78 centimeters. Okay, I want to show you how this works. Okay, so in my calculator, I have entered the data from the box plot, or from the dot plot. Okay, so you got a 60, you got two 62s, 4 63s, and so forth. Let me go here. So I've entered this data in. Okay, so if we run one variable stats on list 1, we should see everything. There's my mean. Come up here so you can see both. There's my mean of 67. There's my standard deviation of 4.29. There's my min, my Q1, my median. My Q3 is 70. I think the book made a mistake when they put 69 in there. My max is 75. So if I take all of this data and multiply it by 2.54, because that's how I'm converting it to centimeters, my new one variable stat should be all the values that I just calculated. So I'm going to move my cursor up there, and I'm going to say L1 times 2.54. Okay, so now all of my inches have been converted to centimeters. So now if I do one variable stats on this, list 2, which is all my centimeters now, I should get what I just calculated. There's my mean of 170.18. There's my median of 167.64. Standard deviation of 10.90. And then my range, 190.5 minus 152.4 is 38.1. And my IQR, 177.8 minus 160.02 is 17.78. Okay, so everything worked the way it should. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how that works. All right, let's do number 2. Up here. If Miss Navard had the entire class stand on a 6-inch platform and then had the students measure the distance from the top of their heads to the ground, how would the shape, center, and spread, the distribution change compared to the original? So come back here. So if they're going to stand on a 6-inch platform, all they're going to do is add 6 inches to all their original heights. So now we're forgetting about the centimeters. We're going back to the original heights. So again, shape, no change. Center. Center is impacted when you add. So my mean of 67, I'm just going to add 6 inches to it. So that is 73 inches. My median of 66, I'm just going to add 6 inches to it, and that's 72 inches. My spread is not impacted by addition, so none of my spreads will change. Okay, standard deviation will remain the same, range will remain the same, and IQR will remain the same. And these are all inches. Okay, so let's do that so you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to come back. I'm going to delete these. Now I'm just going to add 6 to all of those. Okay, so again, L1, oops, not there. Go up to the top. L1 plus 6. So all I've done is added 6 to all these data. And then I will run one variable stats again on the new list 2. And there's my mean. Okay. There's my, see, standard deviation didn't change. Median is still 72, and my range, 81 minus 66 is 15, and then 76 minus 69 is 7. So range, IQR, and standard deviation didn't change. Okay? All right, last one. Now suppose that you convert the class's heights to z-scores. How would the shape, center, and spread of this distribution change? Explain. Okay, come back here. So if we remember our z-score formula, it's the data minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So this is our observation. So we're doing a little bit of subtraction and a little bit of division. Okay? So again, shape, no change. Center is impacted by subtraction and division. Okay? So my mean and my median will both have to be subtracted and divided. Let me move this down a little bit. And what am I subtracting by? I'm subtracting by the mean and dividing by the standard deviation. Oh, 0.29. So of course this will zero out, and then this will be negative 0.233. Okay? I'm going to come over here for spread. For my spread, remember, spread is not impacted by, come back over here, by addition or subtraction. The only thing that's going to impact spread is the division. Okay, so here all I have to do is take my standard deviation, which is 4.29, and divide it by the standard deviation. So that's 1. My range, which was, what was my range again? 15. I'll divide that by 4.29, which I get 3.5. And then my IQR, which was 7, all I have to do is divide that. Because again, none of these are going to be impacted by the subtraction. So that's 1.63. Okay, let me just show you this in the calculator, show you how everything matches, and then we'll be done. Can you see everything? Okay. Okay, so now I've got to do some fancy little formulas here. So I'm going to take L1, which is the data, minus the mean, which is 67, and then divide by the standard deviation. Okay, so now when I run one variable stats on my transformed data, there's my mean of 0. There's my mean of 0. Let's check the median. The median is negative 0.233. The standard deviation is 1, okay, essentially 1. The range, okay, from 1.86 minus a negative 1.63 is about 3.5. And then my IQR, 0.699 minus a negative 0.932 is approximately 1.63. So try it in your calculator, make sure it all works, okay? But again, just to recap for transformations, nothing changes shape or outliers. No matter what you do to your data, you convert it from feet to miles or anything like that, shape and outliers will never change. If you do any kind of conversion where you multiply or divide, spread and center are both changed, okay? Center is the only one that's impacted when you add or subtract. So say, you know, I did test scores and I wanted to give everybody 10 points. So if I just added 10 points to everybody's grade, the shape and the outliers wouldn't change, the spread wouldn't change, but the actual mean and median would change. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. Thanks, guys. Bye.